big picture overview of city finances and a little bit of sort of discussion on the policy and budget process a little bit. Although I updated and changed some of this, most of you have seen this before, but please, if there's a question or clarification or some elaboration, please chime in anywhere through there. I'm sure when Greg gets his piece of overview, ask him questions. Ask him the hard questions. A couple of early comments, just a matter of, it's easy to fall into the budget being this process that we go through from July to November, and we pass out worksheets and work with the numbers and see what it adds up. But really the budget's more than that number process. It's a way that this council, you guys as policymakers, can set priorities and shape policy for city operations. It's a way to improve organizational performance. There's certainly some legal requirements for you guys to have oversight of the finances and financial control. It's a big part of your job. I'm just there to help you in that. Although we can look at it as an annual budget, hopefully it's also a matter of long-term stability and not some roller coaster ride, but there's a consistency from year to year, and know that next year or several years out, confidence that we'll be in good shape. A couple of particular policies that we follow. Some of these are written formal policies adopted by the City Council, and some are just more a matter of my approach that I've really pushed with the Finance Committee. But first is the budget starts with revenues. It's a way to make sure that we spend within our means is to look at, here's the amount of revenue that we think is capable of being raised from the community, whether it's taxes or fees, but setting that right revenue figure rather than starting with what are all the things we want to buy and spend. A couple other pieces with policy are mentioned that long-term stability, but having a structural balance, making sure that if we purchase something that may have ongoing expenses, we take that into account instead of being surprised a year or 2 years down the road that there's cost of having that pony that seems real exciting when you got it, but needs to be fed and cleaned and cared for, and vet bills, metaphorically, obviously. We also, the other piece with the budget is it's not just this couple months over the summer and early fall, but it's something that we look at throughout the year as a management tool, making sure that we're aware of variances in our spending and our revenues and can adjust. The first chart in your packet is historical tax rates. It's been updated through the current year. This is actually tax year 2012, but calendar year 13. You can see the total tax rate, combining city, county, school district, tech college, all at the top, and what that's done over time. The next line down that's unlabeled, but the next line down is the school district, a significant portion of the tax bill. The line below that is the city, which is labeled, is the city's tax rate. So you can see what the tax rate that is set by this body has done over the last 20 years. And over the last 7 years that I've been here, we've really only had one increase in 2008, and that was for Lake Wietecha, which was approved by the advisory referendum. That was approved by the voters on a 2-to-1 basis to say this is important, raise our taxes to get this project done. Although we're making payments for the next 12 or 15 years on that, we've actually even come back down to where we're close to in line with what taxes were before that went up in that year. But that's what that spike is in 2008. The next chart's just a different view of, on a snapshot basis. Here's what the taxes are for the school, city, county, tech college, state. On a $150,000 property, we use that as sort of the average price. It's probably a little bit high now with recession having a decreased value in individual properties, but it's a nice round number. Their total tax bill would be $3,766. Of that, just over $1,000 is the city's portion. Question? Where that 1,022 becomes interesting, and the city's portion is the next chart. This nets out any revenues that are identifiable to a department. If there's fees for park registrations, it's netted out of the park piece. If there's particular state aid for streets, that's netted out of the public works section. But it divides out that $1,022 across each of these city departments or city functions, debt service, capital projects, and you can see what that costs on that average $150,000 house. General government, $95, police, $238, fire district, $97. I think this is a really nice perspective in terms of we hear, what do I get for my tax dollars, or all my taxes must be going to some particular service. Here's the real numbers of what it is. I think you'll see there's a lot of consistency in there too during the 3 years that are mapped out. Probably the one change is in the current year a drop in general government and an increase in other miscellaneous. That's a matter of some restructuring and creating a new community development position, which under the prior years was easy to mark that little bit of planning, economic development committee expenses under other. It may not be appropriate as we go forward, but that's where you're seeing that change there. But again, big thing I'd point out there is a lot of consistency. They might vary a little bit, but we stay fairly consistent year to year. The next few charts are ones that we have not shown in this presentation, but I thought were important because it's not all tax dollars. The property owner has to write checks for utility bills also, and it's coming out of the same wallet. The first one is comparison of water rates for Dane, Green, and Rock counties. Try to pick our neighbors. On an average residential usage of 7,350 cubic feet during the year, Evansville's bill would be $439 for that household. It's in Dane, Green, and Rock counties, it's pretty close, maybe a little bit above the middle of the pack. The next sheet, or the next chart, you're going to see what happens when the water goes down the drain. The sanitary sewer bill, this we last increased in 2009 in order to service that on the new wastewater plant. That same average 7,300 cubic feet usage, that residential bill would be $322 over the course of the year. And even with our new plant included in that rate, we're somewhere in the bottom half of our peers. The other piece I'd point out is the data here, I think, is from 2010. So we haven't increased in that time, but it's unlikely any of the others that have decreased, that might have gone up. This is not geographically around our neighboring counties. This is statewide population, 4,000 to 6,000. It's a different source of data, so I'll work with what they have. But again, I think we've got pretty competitive and favorable sewer rates. Electric is a fuzzy graph, so you have to take my word for it. In some, our electric rates, which increased September last year, in some of these comparisons, we are higher than them, and on a couple of them, we are lower than them. So, other than saying that, it's tough to give a specific comparison on where we are. We do try to look at our utilities as part of the overall budget. I think should be cognizant of where our rates are compared to others, rather than just saying, yeah, I want more of this, or why can't we do that? I do want to talk about some limits in our budget. These are things that I get a lot of questions on throughout the year, particularly from department heads. State law, we have levy limits, and they are pretty strict. They basically limit any increase in the property taxes, whatever you might approve in November. That increase is either zero, which is a pretty small increase, or net new construction. So if we have new construction minus any demolition, that new tax base, we're legally allowed to increase taxes up to that dollar amount. Early estimate, that could be up to about a $44,000 increase in taxes, and still be within that state levy limit. I'd also point out, historically, we have not taken the tax to the max approach. We actually looked at what are the revenues that we're making appropriate and spend within that, but that's a limit that we can't go above. There are some exceptions to that for debt service. There are also exceptions for levy to support TIF districts, which are going to be important as we finish up our budget this fall. New in the law this year is that fees on some specific services, if those services were previously supported by property tax dollars, and we increase the fees, or if we switch something from taxes to fees, those are also subject to the levy limits and need to be able to stay below that zero or net new construction. We're still waiting on some clarification on that. It's possible that that'll include garbage collection. We think it's unlikely, but we're waiting on some clarification for that. Fire service is entirely on the tax. Street sweeping is entirely in a fee, so it's not covered by the tax, so there's no issue there. What were the other ones? Stormwater is entirely in a charge, so there's no concern there. It's a change in the law, other than waiting on some clarification. It looks like we're going to be safe, or at least not having it impact how do we adjust and work within the budget. Second limit is the expenditure restraint program, which is a state program designed to encourage holding back on spending. Basically, if we limit our spending, whether it's taxes, fees, donations, wherever that money might come from for general operations, if we stay under, we're estimating it'll be 3%, but if we stay under that percent increase, we get roughly $50,000 in discretionary grant money. So if we decide to get a bunch of donations to put on some sort of new operation or increase fees for something, it's possible that can be jeopardized. So we try to keep an eye on that and setting the budget, make sure that we're staying within that limit as well. The third one is general obligation debt. State law limits our GO debt to 5% of equalized value. Greg's going to get into this in more detail. Our city policy has been formally for a number of years, and as of last fall was formally adopted by you guys, is 50% of that legal capacity. So basically, 2.5% of our equalized debt is the most general obligation geo debt that we want to carry. There may be some exceptions, a unique circumstance, or maybe some fluctuation that happens to spike above it a little bit, but certainly isn't a position we want to be in the long run. Currently, we're at 48.9%. So there's not much between 48.9 and 50. Looking forward, as we pay down debt, 43.6% next year, 38.3% the following year. But currently, little room to take on new debt, which means street projects, library expansion, debt to support projects within the tax increment district. Right now, you're not in a position to take on more than a few tens of $100,000 of debt. Next chart is giving an idea of personnel costs. Rather than looking at departments, this lumps all employees together. This is assuming no change in wages. For budget purposes, it's assuming 7% increase in health insurance. We won't know that number for sure for about another month, late September. But payrolls, $2.3 million. Add in FICA, retirement, health insurance, other benefits. Employees are about $3.2 million for the city. Shouldn't be that surprising because we don't make products. We don't have raw materials. We provide services, and that means people. But personnel are expensive. Quite much of that is above our schools. The direction given to the department heads a month and a half ago was this will be a hold steady budget. As they meet with their committees and come up with their budget requests, the target is to hold even. If they're looking at something needing to add or increase, find a way to do it within their existing budget. And really we expect that hold steady also means maintaining services, not just maintaining numbers, but maintaining the services we provide. A comment that may fit here, I mentioned changing the law regarding some fees being subject to levy limit. Another change in the law is any fees imposed or raised after July 2nd of this year, so new fees, there is a greater burden of legal proof if they get challenged for the city to show that the fees are reasonable to cover some sort of costs and not just inflated to make money. So that'll be a new factor as we look at when we review fees or the fee schedule. That'll be something that we give more attention to than we did in the past. The other comment I think with the hold steady budget is recognizing that we have shared constituencies. Our city taxpayers are also school district taxpayers, county taxpayers, and there's a certain capacity within the community to make those payments. So although we're looking at the city's budget, I think it's important to have that broader view in terms of what we can do for revenues to stay within. A couple recommendations for the 14 budget. We've updated the capital improvement plan last year, which is sort of a 5-year looking forward. What are the big, expensive, typically infrastructure type projects we would be doing? I think that although they might have identified projects for 14, reality is going to be that they're going to be smaller cash type projects rather than it's something that we would issue debt for, whether it's geo debt or revenue debt. is more likely to be some smaller cash projects. I would also point out a few specific projects or ideas for projects have at least come up anecdotally when meeting with staff or at committee of the whole or department meetings. There was comment about purchasing our house property. We know that we will be updating the smart growth plan. There was comment about hiring an intern to help with that. We have had very little discussion, but there's been a little bit of talk that we may be on the cusp of a citywide computer technology upgrade. The brick walls we've been piecing away at the last several years, I think that continues. There was talk about purchasing land to allow expansion of West Side Park. Is something that may be coming out of the park plan. All great ideas. Maybe they can all be worked into the plan, but the reality is that it's easy to come up with a wish list. It's tough to make it happen. My last page, so I'm getting long-winded, and I know you're all here for Greg, not me. A couple other recommendations. We've been hammering on this theme for a few years, but I think it's important to keep at it. A matter of lean government, being effective and efficient, cutting unnecessary costs or delay or paperwork and looking beyond the status quo. A few examples of things we've done. We consolidated our accounting systems, which, although it's still close to a year into it, there's still a little bit of a learning curve, but it's going to free up staff time. We, at the same time, this is really the learning curve, we upgraded our accounting software, which will make all the numbers in the budget easier to work with. From a more physical standpoint, having a wing when we purchased new snowplows a couple of years ago and adding a brine solution that we pre-apply to the streets, we've almost eliminated overtime in snowplowing in the last few years. Energy efficiency projects, variable speed pump on the water well saves energy. Some other pieces of cut electric and heating costs in the public works building in half. So looking at how do we improve either efficiency or effectiveness. The other theme is the drive for excellence, the continuous improvement, wanting to be among the best of our peers rather than the laggards. A few specific examples, the police expect to be applying for and hopefully awarded accreditation this fall. Last year, the electric utility was recognized nationally as a reliable public power provider, RP3, and I think that's in the top 8% of the nation. I think it's important that we invest and continue to invest in the training of our employees. It cost us $3.2 million. I want them to be the best that we've got, not just somebody filling a seat. I think that the committee of the whole discussions we've had the last couple of years and really talking strategy really are to make this board special. I know when I talk to other cities, they don't do anything like that. But I think that's another example of the drive for excellence. Something for small things. The Friday report, the committee handbooks is a means of, you always hear communication is where something fell through. We really try to push making sure that we get information out there and not blindsided. And even those are still subject to continuous improvement. I think that there are some definite efforts we